Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Kylie. If you're wondering why I said welcome back to my YouTube channel and not welcome to my YouTube channel because there are no videos on my YouTube, well, to make a really long story short, I started a YouTube channel when I was 14 years old. I filmed all the way up till I was around 18 years old, and the last video I ever posted was me moving into my college dorm at Texas A&M, and now in 2 weeks and 2 days I will be graduating from said Texas A&M. Also, to make a long story short, I realized that I don't really have any hobbies anymore. This realization hit me at the start of this semester, but essentially let me try and get back into the hobbies that I used to do and love, and one of those was reading, hence the title of this video. And the other one of those hobbies was filming and making YouTube videos. So I'm gonna try and dabble in that, and this is probably the worst time to start doing that because not only am I graduating in 2.5 weeks, I am moving in less than a month to Arkansas. Picked up reading again this January. I decided to hit that hard and heavy that I was going to read 52 books. I've DNF'd 3, and we're going to go over each book that I've read and like a 1 to 2 sentence synopsis. I'm going to give my rating. Now, a little disclaimer. I've read a lot of popular book talk books. My favorite genre personally is mysteries, thrillers. Because of that, I am well versed in the mystery and thriller world. So yeah, I feel like ratings for different types of genres is different. But all of this to say that I have rated some books that are very, very popular, very, very low. Sorry if I rated your favorite book low. It's just my opinion. Here is the current bookshelf. I have gotten most of these books in the past 6 months. Alright, I'll just do the video without glasses. Okay, starting with the books I've DNF'd. My phone says I've DNF'd 2, but I could have sworn there was 3. Starting with this book, it's The Girl in the Headlines. It is by Hannah Jane, and the reason I DNF'd it is because I am, like I said, well versed in thrillers. If it's supposed to be real, like supposed to be based on real events, then far-fetched things do not do it for me. That was what was happening here. I got about 50 pages in, just so far-fetched for what was going on that I just couldn't finish it. The second book I DNF'd, I do not have, and that is actually why I DNF'd it. It was Red Rising. I got about 100 pages in. I did enjoy it. It's not a book where I like need to go get a new one right this second. I actually lost it. Having these books in front of me, I realized that 2 things. Number 1, I have a lot more books on my shelf than I thought. Number 2, seeing them like in front of me, wow, I've read a lot. Okay. So, starting with a book that I actually don't have, it was The Gray Seer by Kim Liggett. I gave this book a 5 stars. If you like Hunger Games, if you like Handmaid's Tale, this book is a perfect mix of both of those. I really enjoyed it. It was like a psychological thriller, had me on edge. Do I think I would have stuck with the 5-star rating? I think I'm gonna move it to a 4 stars. The first book I finished this year was Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Mist and Fury. Love this book, gave this book 5 stars. Must I say anything? It's all over Book Talk. It is the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I listened to most of it on audiobook, really enjoyed it. Obviously, I recommend this series. Another thriller, surprise, surprise, The Silent Patient by Alex. I gave this book a 3 stars. Again, with the whole thriller thing, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. If it is far-fetched, if it is unrealistic, that's what turns me off the book. I also guess the twist, therefore if I guess the twist, then it already kind of loses points for me, unless it's just a really good twist. Another popular book talk book, not my favorite though, so The Silent Patient. Riley Sager, Home Before Dark. A lot of people love Riley Sager because of his thrillers. I give this book a 4 stars. Really good, kind of ghosty too. I like horror, I like ghosts, I really like this cover. Yeah, I highly recommend this one, especially if you like Riley Sager and his writing. And it was a quick read too, which is nice because it's kind of a thicker book too. The next book I also don't have, it is Once Upon a Broken Heart. This is going to break a lot of hearts. I guess it's because it was YA, but it was not my favorite book. I know several people who have read it and have given it really high ratings. I give it a 2 stars. I don't know if it's because I wasn't in the mood for fantasy at the time, and I do want to finish the series because it was a quick read. I read it really fast, but it just was not doing it for me. So I gave that book a 2 stars. And every time I see a TikTok video about that book, I'm like, did I grade it right? And I think I did. Nothing really stood out to me. Nothing but Blackened Teeth. And it is by Cassandra Khaw. Rated it a 2 stars. I think I would have rated it more if it was thicker. I know it's supposed to be a novella, but it just, you didn't really get time to know the characters, and also like It could also be because I don't know like the Japanese lore and the Japanese like horror and stuff. It was a quick read, so if you need a quick read to just cleanse your palate, it is only like 140 pages. Kind of came downhill after this. I went to Half Price Books and I found this book. It was a new book, The Handyman Method, and it is by Nick Cutter and Andrew F. Sullivan. It was kind of confusing, very hard to read. I know, like, I gave this also a 2 stars. It was creepy, and that's what they were going for, and like, that's great, but it was just really gruesome too, and I can do gruesome. I don't know, like it just didn't do it for me, and it was very confusing to read a lot of the time. Like they never really explained a lot of things. I just didn't like it. Temperature warning, you've got to be kidding me. Last Time I Lied, Riley Sager. Not as much of a quick read. The twist, the ending was so good, so good, and I gave it a 4 stars. So clearly I like Riley Sager and his work. The twist was just so good. Next book, I found this also at Half Price Books. It is The Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. Creepy. There are 2 things I love most in this world. Okay, thrillers and the color pink. You combine those 2, I'm in. Basically, our main character was in a cult and is going back to her family to visit for her cousin's wedding, and you follow this main character and why she left. And the next book I had finished was The Lion Game by Ruth Ware, and I rated it a 3 stars. What's funny is I just had to remember what this book is about. It's a dark, kind of dark academia. You're following a group of 5 characters 20 years in the future. I don't know. The cover is really pretty. It just wasn't my favorite. But I would read her books again. Reese Witherspoon. It was part of Reese Witherspoon's book club, so apparently she likes it. I am really harsh on thrillers, so a 3 for me is probably like a high 4.5 for other people. This was all going on. I was listening to the audiobook of A Court of Wings and Ruin. I think this is my favorite of the series. This one is more political than the rest of the books, but I was really a big fan of all the politics and just all the action that actually did happen in this one was really good. As soon as I finished that one, I picked up A Court of Frost and Starlight. It's cute. It's the novella in the series, and my favorite thing about this book is it is pretty much, they are celebrating the winter solstice. All the characters are, and it is growing up watching TV shows, or even now the holiday specials. This is like the holiday special version of A Court of Thorns and Roses, like all those characters. I started A Court of Wings and Ruin in January, and that was actually the last book that I had read or started reading in January, and I finished it in February. Finished the book on February 2nd, so technically speaking it was more January, which means that for January I read 11 books. I read 11 books in January, which, and I don't know if you're keeping up, but I've read 21 books this year, so that means for the other 3 months I've read 10. Ooh, that stung a little. After A Court of Frost and Starlight, I read The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Geneva. I gave this book a 3 stars because there was a lot of far-fetched stuff in this. It's something that would never happen. So essentially, in the book, the husband is on trial for murder and she's representing him because she is like the top lawyer in DC. That doesn't happen, okay? That is a conflict of interest. That is not gonna happen. Other than that, the writing was good and I finished it pretty fast. So, ooh, I actually thought I rated this book higher. This Is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I gave it a 2 stars. Another really big book talk book. It was a quick read. I read another one of her books. This is not the one that I would recommend. And while I was reading, I was also listening to the audio of A Court of Silver Flames, and this book I gave a 4 stars. 5-star series, 4-star book. It's a whole bunch of nothing in the middle, and then the last 100 pages, it's a whole bunch of, why are we going so fast? Most people would agree with that. It also follows a different main character than the last 4 in the series, and because of that, like, it was like a switch, and I really liked the character in the first 4 book. Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. Chef's Kiss. 5-star thriller, which is very hard for me. Didn't guess the twist, which the twist was insane. Could it have been far-fetched? Yes, probably. The writing, it had me wanting to know what was next. Phenomenal. Loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. Oh my goodness, I will reread it so many times even though I already know what happens. I recommend this book if you want a good thriller. It wasn't really scary. It's just so good, and it's cute too. Like, look at that cover. Wilder Girls. This book started out so strong, such a great concept, but I rated it a 3 stars because it just fell flat. Island off of Maine, like a small island off of Maine. There is a boarding school for all girls, and while they're there, famine epidemic. Anyways, it breaks out and they call it the talks, and one by one students are dying, and now you're trying to figure out why, you're trying to figure out what's going on, and the concept is really great, but about halfway through it fell flat, and it took me so long to finish this book, and even the ending, it's like, what did I just read? I was in a really bad reading slump, and I posted just on my Instagram that I was in a reading slump, and decided to pick up some romance books, which is, I don't read romance. The most I'll read is Court of Thorns and Roses type romance, like fantasy romance. My friend gifted me Flawless by Elsie Silver, and I gave this book a 3 stars. Do I normally think I would give it a 3 stars? No. The reason I gave it a 3 stars is because it was a very quick read. It was cute. Like, I see why people do like it, because it's an easy read, mindless read, and I read it really fast. I read it in a day and a half. I bought the second one, and I probably will read the whole series just because it's a quick, cute read. A single book in this video that I recommend. And you were like, maybe I should read it. It should be The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Post. Saw several people recommend it, and I was thought, fine, you know what? I just read this, and you know what? I'm trying to read more like romance, and clearly I didn't love Flawless, so I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna get into romance, maybe I haven't given romance a fair shot. Let me read a book that I know I trust the opinions of people that have read it, and oh my goodness, it is the cutest book. The concept is amazing. Essentially, this girl is living in her aunt's old apartment, and there's a 7-year like time difference in it, and so she falls in love with somebody who's 7 years in the past, and you're like, and to me, like, time travel, I was like, how's that gonna work? Obviously, like, if the author does it, makes it work, and that's what I truly love about it, because I was scared that it wasn't gonna like work, and it worked, and it's so cute. This lovely human being slid up and recommended, her name's Tracy.Reads on Instagram, I will link her down below. She recommended Mountain Made of Glass, Scarlett St. Clair. It's a fairy tale retelling. She said it's a novella and the words are big, and it was really easy, and it got me out of a slump, and I said perfect, sign me up. So I went to Barnes & Noble and I bought it that day, and I read it in a day and a half because it was just too good. I rated it a 4 stars. The writing is beautiful, and what's funny is I had been seeing her Hades X Persephone series, and I really wanted to pick it up, and after reading this I immediately went back to Barnes & Noble and bought A Touch of Darkness, which is the first series the first of the series in her Hades X Persephone. I read The Inmate by Frida McFadden because it has been on my TBR shelf for a very long time, and I rated this book a 4 stars actually. It was a very quick read, another book I read in a day and a half. I liked the suspense of it all. And then the book I am currently on is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I am probably gonna finish it today. I read 200 pages yesterday. It is so good. So much so that yesterday I bought the series and it is now on my bookshelf. I am 3/4 of the way in, and I just really cannot get enough. And it really is such a fast read. Like, reading the 200 pages yesterday, I looked up and I was like, oh wow, I read 200 pages. Like, how did that happen? It is so good. And I love Greek mythology, and it is a twist on like what a modern day Greek mythology would be. Yeah, that is my quarterly. No, it's a third of the year. Why did I keep saying quarterly? A third of the year is over, and that is my third of the year amount of books that I've read. I'm 40% through my goal, and that's really cool, and I think I'm definitely gonna hit it because I've been on a kick of reading, excited about something, and have something I'm like hyper fixated on again. And yeah, I'm also excited to start YouTube again and posting and just kind of like social media again. I've never stopped social media, let me say that, but like for a purpose. Like, I'm ready to start YouTube again, and I want to start on TikTok, and I want to like really build my book Instagram and whatnot. So if you would subscribe. It's probably gonna be a lot of book videos for a while because that is my hyperfixation, but I don't know, maybe like I'm moving, so I'll probably post some moving videos, and obviously I want to set up, like I said, a wall of bookshelves, so there'll probably be videos about that. Yeah, if you like this video and you like reading, then why don't you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And sorry about if it's all over the place. It's been a very long time since I filmed, edited, and uploaded a YouTube video, but here we are, and I'm happy to be back. And yeah, thank you.